Previously on Coruscant Nights.
Stanton Shift Horne. Shift is his nickname, pulled from a situation in Sabak where there's a shift. And so he was internal affairs until something happened and he more or less got ousted from it. He was in a Sabak game with a guy who was more or less on his level, and the power went out, and then a shift happened. Now, shifts happen, but this was a very suspicious one, and it cost him everything on this guy. And that guy ended up getting promoted ahead of him, and he kind of got run out of the bureau as a result of it.
Somebody went to the central processing station, killed some clones, and then whoever's in charge of, I don't know, their police or whatever came into his house.
Did the police shoot him?
Yes.
Did he kill those clones?
No. And he says, I didn't. It wasn't me.
Okay, so I will take your case. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's cool with me. Your past comes back to haunt you. Sometimes it even comes looking for you. Panda's Casino, the Golden Gun Dark, is not as busy as it was probably the last time you came here. Is this one of the places that Stanton frequents, or is he more interested in the more private card games in the lower levels?
So Stanton's experience, the Golden Gun Dark is where he lost his big hand against his rival. His rival's name is Oren Rylar, who was the other investigator at the time that Stanton was an investigator. So that's where he lost the thing. So and he doesn't trust the dealers there, so he always asks for a droid dealer. Plus, this is going to have the advantage for him. So he arrives. He goes into the Sabak room, which is a separate room off of the casino. The casino's filled with all sorts of games and loud idiots, that are just playing machines that are going to lose them money in the long run.
Yeah.
But the Sabak room is like its own room.
And as you enter, I need you to do a vigilance check.
Okay.
How is your vigilance?
The system is so slick. I just pick what I want and it rolls it for me. All right, what am I rolling against?
A red and a purple.
I'm going to argue for an advantage on vigilance because this is a place that he knows front and back. He doesn't even have to think.
Yeah, you get a boost for that.
Okay. A red and a black, and what do I get a boost with? Another green one?
Red, purple, and then the light blue one.
So,
2 failures.
Wow. So he's a little distracted. Maybe he's still thinking about that blood in the cab.
He might be.
Maybe that one, he's kind of like, God, what do I do about that thing? He's trying to decide right now whether or not he should make an anonymous phone call to have somebody pull that cab over before he can clean it up so that they can take care of it. Either way, he's distracted when he goes in.
But he spots Mal sitting at a table towards the center of the room.
Is the dealer a droid?
The dealer is a droid.
Is there anybody else at the table?
Not at that table.
Perfect.
A couple of the other tables are full.
That's fine. He would have asked Mal to... Okay, so he sits down.
He sits down. Mal says, all right.
Mal, it's almost like we've done this before because there's a droid and it's just you and me. So it seems like you're willing to play ball.
Well, we'll see how things turn out.
Tell you what, Mal, I'm just going to start talking and you stop me when this story starts to sound familiar. How's that sound?
Okay.
I got a guy. He's a custodian. His name's Enzo. He's a waiter here at this very casino.
Yep, I know Enzo.
I don't really know this guy. I don't know. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, I hired the guy.
You hired the guy?
Yeah.
You hired the guy to do what?
To wait tables. He's not particularly good at anything else.
Was he any good at waiting tables?
He was okay.
Tell you what, I'll keep going. That seems weird, but whatever. He's a custodian at the RSF as well. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Well, the RSF knows that because they went into his backyard and tried to shoot him. They actually shot him once, which isn't bad for our RSF friends, at least the ones that I know. They didn't kill him, which would have been spectacular for them and pretty unlikely. But he ends up down at my place with a nice big blaster hole in his side. Turns out the 2 clones were in a data bank that got murdered last night. And instead of doing what I would call an investigation, they just tried to shoot the custodian. So, how's this song sounding to you? Does it sound like something that you could maybe add a verse to?
That's a lot of news to me. I haven't heard much of this at all.
You can imagine my surprise.
So you failed your vigilance check.
I sure did.
Stanton feels a hand on his shoulder. Just a
that's
pat.
not good. Stanton knows better than to draw down on something like this in the casino, because he knows that whatever's happening, he's just along for the ride at this point. And so he says to Mal, he goes, "Is that your hand, Mal?"
No, I was just playing a game with the old friend here, and I thought you might like a rematch.
I know already who this is. Anytime anyone refers to a rematch, it means something that I've lost. And there's only one guy that I've lost that badly to, and it's Oren Rylar.
He leans down and puts an elbow on your shoulder. Stanton Horne.
Oren Rylar.
He smiles with his pointy teeth. Fancy seeing you here.
You know, I was just about to say what a pleasant experience I was having here at the Golden Gundark.
He spins the seat around next to you and sits down. Fancy game?
Well, I was playing with Mal here. Are you going to replace my droid dealer?
Maybe I should. How do you feel about that droid? The droid looks over with its dead eyes.
Yeah. All right. What do you want out of me?
Oh, me? I just saw you here. I thought you could use some company. Mel's a little boring, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know what I'm playing for tonight, Oren?
Hey, what's that?
I'm playing for information.
Oh, yeah?
So how's about we get our droid friend here to maybe deal us a few, and we play for some information?
We play a little, what do you got, what do I got?
I'm thinking something like that. I'm guessing, and I don't think this is too tough for me to surmise, that you would like a certain friend of mine that you no doubt heard me refer to about 30 minutes ago.
You being funny? I know you don't have any friends.
Yeah, I am being funny because it was way sooner than 30 minutes. It was about 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, you got me. We're looking for the same thing.
I'm looking for the answers to a lot of questions as to why you're looking for this guy.
Well, we're both looking for the person who murdered a couple clones. Is that not right?
I think we are, if you put it that way.
And one of us just happens to be wrong about who they're looking for.
You're probably right there as well. Okay, so here's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oren Rylar knows I got this guy, right? He just doesn't know where I got him.
Yeah.
My problem is that I don't trust Oren Rylar. And so I'm going to play him for information. But if Oren is in on this and looking for this guy, then I'm guessing that he is trying to basically silence this guy. And I don't know what I could possibly get out of Oren if I think that he is in on this. So I have to convince Oren to answer questions for me.
You have to get him flustered or surprised or, yeah.
Well, tell you what, Oren, how much are they paying you now up there? You got an awfully nice promotion since the last time we were at this table.
Oh, that I did.
Yeah, and I seem to remember a little bump to your paycheck coming right out of mine after that shift, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know that I got a nickname out of that one?
Yeah. Do you know who started that nickname?
Nah, I'm pretty sure I know who started that nickname. So I think that I got a fairly big bone to pick with you, but I'm willing, as always, to exchange a lot of grievances for credits. So why don't we sit down here and we'll just start having a friendly conversation while some credits move back and forth. How's that sound?
He smiles at you. You see those many filed down sharp pointed teeth. That sounds good to me.
Let's see some cards, dealer.
Mel moves off to the side and starts watching. It's probably going to be counting some cards. And the droid deals. All right, so to play Sabacc, I don't love the rules that they've come up with for playing Sabacc, but we're going to start with some of the rules, and then we're going to fiddle with them a little bit. Yeah. So when you were talking about Sabacc with me yesterday, it's your choice whether you put the card in the field. Your choice whether to allow it to shift.
So largely you're going to be dealt cards and you're trying to get to certain numbers versus your opponent.
Right.
And then
it's basically poker.
Yes,
right?
but to avoid the shifts and things like that, you can place cards in a protective field.
Right.
And so you can make strategic decisions. It's not totally random on it.
Yeah. So the way the rules are written for it in Edge of the Empire in these games is that the shift always happens. But we'll change that so that you can choose whether you put your cards in the field. So you choose whether to take the risk, which I feel like feels much more like it anyway.
Sure.
You're assessing your own risks.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's a true gambler.
Yeah. So we start out with your cool rating.
Okay. So my cool is 2 yellows and a green,
which
is pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. We're going to make the first hand easy, so it's just going to be 1 purple.
Okay.
Roll your first hand.
Okay. So I got to do what? Roll cool? No, I can't roll cool. Oh, I can roll cool. Okay. Yep. Cool against what? A purple?
1 purple for the first one.
Well, crushed that. 4 successes.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So the next part is the shift. Your choice, whether you want to allow them to shift. So what happens here is we roll one of those white dice.
Okay.
For every black that comes up, 1 success and 1 advantage are converted to a failure and a threat.
Okay.
And the opposite for if a white pip comes up. So
I'm like wildly ahead on this.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to bother playing the shift.
Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, what's going through Stanton's mind as his cards come up?
So this is early in the game. Stanton knows that he's way ahead, so he's just going to start. He's going to immediately start working Horne, just to try to get him off kilter a little bit here. So he's going to start talking. Horne, this is not a great start for you, my friend. You look distracted. Did you get a new toothbrush or something?
It's only the beginning of the game. We still got a bit to go before it's all over, for the big win.
What's in that data room that those 2 clones were killed in?
It's on a need-to-know basis, and he looks you up and down. Clearly don't need to know.
Well, another thing I don't need to know is that my hand is just wildly superior to yours. So, I mean, we can keep going, and I can keep asking you questions, I suppose, but I don't know. I mean, I guess let's just keep dealing cards.
Yeah, this game's only just started. It's going to be the same roll except 2 purples. He says, I think I'm going to let this one shift.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, so what ends up happening, his hand is not quite as good as yours, but it's better than it was. So haven't really thought about this. What do you think the Golden Gundark's cards look like?
The Golden Gun, like the back of the cards?
Yeah, back of the cards, front of the cards. What style? What are they like?
Like opulence. That would be the word that I would use for the Golden Gundark's Sabacc room. And this is like a high end. Like, he's not going to go and play low end stuff, even though he probably can't afford to do it. He trusts his own skill, so he's going into the high end tables, and that's where he plays. And so this is just, the Gundark tries at like hut levels of too hard for opulence, right? Like the stuff is gilded gold all over the place, and so the cards are gold with like a literal golden Gundark on the back, like almost looking like the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones, right? It's just like this ridiculous opulent thing. And so they have like a golden, around the cards they have like a golden sort of edging that glows and ripples as well.
And this is the back room that you're in right now. It's a lot quieter than the front or even just the regular card tables.
Yeah, they don't let everybody back here.
Yeah, it's kind of dark with pools of light around the tables. Mel's really intent on this game. I'm not sure if he wants you to win or if he wants you to lose, but he's watching your hands in particular pretty hard.
So Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is a custodian murdered for the crime of killing 2 clones in a data room, who also happens to be a waiter here at the lovely Golden Gundark? What do you think about that, Oren?
Well, why would he murder those people?
Yeah. What sense does that make? You're an investigator.
You should roll to get to pump him for info. What do you think? Would that be charm or leadership? You're like pumping him up a little bit. You're like, hey,
here's what I'm gonna do.
You're a
I'm gonna
professional. You're good at this.
I'm gonna keep talking for a second, and I'm gonna roll this into deception.
Okay.
Okay. I just gotta think of how to deceive this guy. So I'm gonna look at him and go, you see, the thing is that Enzo didn't find anything except what those 2 clones left, which he picked up and put into his pocket. Did you know that?
It's going to be against 3 purples, but I'm going to flip a dark side point to make one of those purples a red. So 2 purples and 1 red.
All right, and I'm going to roll. Okay, I'm a success and 2 advantages. So I've successfully lied into thinking that Enzo has information that these 2 clones picked up from the databank.
Yeah. Do you know where he stashed it?
Oh, it's plenty safe, just like he is.
That info can't get out. You know that.
I know that.
It's going to ruin careers. Big careers.
I know that too. Do you think that a guy that works as a private investigator on the lower levels cares a whole hell of a lot about those careers?
You really should. Do you have an idea for your 2 advantages?
So one of the advantages that I'm getting off of him is that he's really off kilter now, and so he's starting to like.
You said something you weren't supposed to know.
Yeah, well, it was a lie, and I was seeing whether or not it was true.
Yeah.
But that was my guess. Was that so? I've got a working theory here, and I'm gonna just keep pumping that information to see how close I can get to it. The one thing that I don't know, which is legitimately bothering me, is whether or not there is an actual tie to Pawn of the Hut here. Because the guy worked as a waiter here, but he also worked as a custodian. So the mere fact that he was a custodian at the place where these 2 clones got murdered puts enough of a situation for him to be pinned, right? It has nothing to do with the fact that he was a waiter at Pawn of the Hut's place. Now, could Pawn of the Hut be involved in this? I suppose, but that would be a wild coincidence if those 2 things were linked because he happened to work at both places. Unless there is some reason that him being a waiter at Pawn of the Hut also contributed to them blaming him for the murder. So that's what I got to get out of him. I have to figure out the connection between Pawn of the Hut and him as a waiter and this crime. So this is so I'm gonna lie again. I'm gonna just keep playing this game, right? How are we doing with the cards? Do we need to go any further on the cards?
We should probably roll another hand.
All right. We'll tell you what. Let's see some more cards before I let you know another piece of information that I know.
I'm gonna flip a dark side point to make his roll a little bit better.
Okay.
And it's gonna be against 3 purples this time.
All right. So what am I rolling here?
Cool.
I'm going to run out of cool pretty quick here with these. And then 3 purples, you said?
Yep. You had 2 advantages on that deception, and I think you used one of them. Do you want to pass the second one on as a black die to him? Okay.
Very much so. So I'll pass him a black die.
He's a little off kilter.
Because he's off kilter now, and I can start to see his tells on things.
Yeah.
Because he's not a great... That's the thing, is he's a good Sabacc player, but he's not great, which is why it bothers me so much that he beat me, and I don't believe that it was legit.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boy. We got all sorts of nonsense going on here.
Oren laughs. I think we both want to let this one shift.
Yeah, you just can't trust droids like you used to. Okay. And so I'm going to roll a white force die?
Yep.
God, we just both got murdered on this one.
Yeah, he whistles through his teeth. That didn't work out for either of us.
Did you file those teeth down just so you could make that whistle?
You know it.
All right, well, this hand was no good for us, so it doesn't help. It just contributes to the Sabacc pot, right?
Yeah. However, according to those rules, your triumph, you could reveal a positive, negative, or natural 23 to win the pot, regardless of the rest of your hand.
But I can only do it on this hand.
With that triumph, yeah.
Okay, so this is a poker term called slow rolling, and it is like the biggest jerk move that you can do is when you pull one of these, just like, oh, what's this? Wait a second here, Horne. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see that. It looks like I have an idiot's array here. And so the dealer says, you win. And so I scoop the pot and I look at Oren, and Oren is
got a
so
hand
pissed
on his chin. Yeah,
point.
he's gritting his teeth, closed mouth.
Now is when I'm going to immediately start working him for information again. I'm going to say, well, tell you what else I know, Oren, here, while I take a second here to collect these chips. Pawn of the Hut really, really is interested in the information that our little waiter might have on him as well. So that's a deception check, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get an advantage because I just absolutely worked this guy on the table.
Yeah, that works for me. And it's
so I get a blue for that, or what?
Yeah, it's 3 purples. Yep, with a blue.
3 purples?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that's terrible. I really needed that information.
Oren says, you really never could lie to me, could you? I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't think Pana has anything to do with this.
I just kind of stare at him. There's like nothing I can do at this point because I just sort of, I only think I can do damage by opening my mouth at this point because I really thought he would react differently to this.
You should make a vigilance check against 3 purples.
Okay. I'm so mad at that. So mad at that. That's the most mad I've been at that thing all night.
You have 2 advantages that you could convert into boost dice if you want, or if you have another idea for those on your lie.
I really need this information. I really have to either connect Pawn of the Hut or not connect Pawn of the Hut. But it is just wild that this guy also works for Pawn of the Hut.
Yeah.
So I'm going to convert whatever I can here to get this thing rolling.
So 2 blues.
Okay. Oh my God.
Wow. These dice hate you tonight.
4 failures and 3 advantages. I don't even, that's an absolute critical failure.
That's a pretty failure-y failure.
Jeez. Look at those purple dice. You couldn't roll.
Yeah. You could not roll.
Dice.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Oh my God. This guy should just retire.
Oren says, I'm about to head up to Pana myself. We'll see what he thinks about this Enzo character.
I really don't want to see Pawn of the Hut, do I? I want this guy to stay at the table, frankly. Does he have any more money on him?
He might. You've got 3 advantages on that check.
All right. So my advantage is I'm going to try to see whether or not I can keep him at the table because it's no good to me if he goes to Pawn of the Hut, right? Mm-hmm. I want to see if I
stand up. Yeah.
You know, it's a shame that this rematch went so quickly. I really, really was enjoying myself. You know, I'm glad that we did this though, because it really does solidify just how lucky you got the last time.
Listen, luck has nothing to do with it. It's all skill.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to prove that to you right now, I will prove it for you.
You're doing a bang-up job so far here, Oren.
Mal, you're dealing. Get this droid out of here. We need a human touch.
Oh, God. I don't know how I feel about that. Mal's been a guy that I've known for a long time. Do I trust Mal that he's not going to cheat me?
Do you?
Mal works for the Golden Gundark, right?
He does.
He works security.
He's off the clock right now, though. Yeah, he does work security.
Okay. The question is, am I going to know if he cheats me? I feel like he would. I feel like he really should. This is why he doesn't let people deal cards, right? Because he's like, okay, so he says to Horne, he goes, hang on to your dentures here 1 second here, Horne. Why all of a sudden do we want to get Mal in here after I've been beating your short pants off you here with a droid?
I don't trust the droids.
Well, I love Mal more than anyone here, but I don't trust him either.
Droids are programmed by Pawn of the Hut. Mal's just paid by him.
Which one's worse?
It's hard to get through programming.
Oh, boy. Is that the only way you're going to continue this thing?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Let's see some cards, Mal. We're going to do this.
Mal shuffles the deck.
I'm not at the point yet where I can leave this thing. I gotta get this information out of him.
All right, first hand's the easy hand. 1 purple.
All right. God, I can't. I must have gotten the worst rolls out of it. Oh, I'm on fire now.
Ooh, wow. Let's see what Oren
Stanton
roll.
Stanton is playing like his life depends on it right now because he's got all the investment in the world in this thing right now. It doesn't even matter the case. This is just him and Oren.
All right. So yeah, it is just him and Oren, and Mal's just, as far as you see, he's just dealing the deck. And
do I need to do any sort of check to see whether or not I can tell if Mal's going to cheat me?
You can watch Mal if you want. You can do a perception check. It's probably a vigilance check because you're playing the game and you're just keeping a side eye on Mal.
Yeah, I want to keep a side eye on Mal as well.
Okay.
I guess it really depends whether or not Mal's going to cheat me as to like how much I'm rolling against, right? Because if everything seems above board and he really is above board, then it shouldn't be that hard to roll because it should everything should look fine.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that has spent more than a small amount of time in the Golden Gundark. Yeah. He should have like excellent radar on whether or not something is. The easiest way to tell if somebody is cheating you is to be suspicious that they're cheating you, right? Mm-hmm. That's the easiest way to see through magic. So I should get an advantage for that because I am very suspicious.
Yeah, you can have a boost for that. I'm going to have add a setback, a black one in because you are in the middle of a hand.
That's true. I got other things going on. So what am I rolling against here?
You are rolling against 2 purples.
Okay. So
Mal
I
is not
succeeded
cheating.
on my vigilance. So Mal is not cheating me. All right. Now we're talking. Okay. So I feel confident about that. I've looked at Mal. Whatever attention I can spare, I've been watching Mal, and I'm pretty confident that Mal's going to do this straight. I think Mal is Mal, for being a Mandalorian, looks a little bit terrified of what's happening here. This is like 2 guys that are seriously staring daggers into each other right now, playing with a lot of money.
Oren's very serious. He's not talking at the moment. He's just concentrating on the cards.
What's wrong, Oren? Lothcat got your tongue all of a sudden?
I thought we were being serious here.
We're never that serious, are we? I mean, we used to be cops.
Are, for sure.
Well, I just can't get my mind off of the fact that this guy was a waiter for Pawn of the Hut. Doesn't that seem like a coincidence? And I didn't know you that well, but you seemed like a competent investigator. Don't you think that'd be the kind of thing that ought to, maybe be worth asking a question or 2 about?
Why do you think I'm here, Shift?
You gonna head upstairs and put some cuffs on Pana?
I didn't bring the big cuffs today.
Yeah, it would take some pretty big cuffs, wouldn't it? Let me tell you what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that this has everything to do with Pawn of the Hut. And I'm thinking that my little custodian that I've got tucked safely away with his data pad on all that information that's going to hurt all those people is something that Pana wouldn't mind getting his hands on. And maybe, just maybe, some clones ought to take out the guy and the data pad to help out our friend upstairs. How close am I with that?
Let's roll the next one.
Okay, so I'm rolling cool. What am I rolling against?
It's against 2 purples.
Okay. All right. I'm doing well. Stan can play cards. Okay. So, what does he do after I give my little speech there? And then he sees his cards and he sees that I am still ahead of him.
He looks down his cards and then he says, "Oh, I didn't see that there." He pulls out 1 more card. "I'm sorry. It looks like I won this one."
There's nothing that I can really do about the cards. I lost to that triumph, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a tiebreaker here, don't we?
I mean, if you insist.
I think I do, Oren. We're going to have to deal 1 more on this.
Okay.
Why don't we sweeten the pot a little bit here, Oren?
Yeah, what do you got? What do you have in mind?
How about, and this is going to be where my deception comes in, how about I wager a certain data pad versus you. See, this is where I gotta get something out of him that I can get like immediately. This is hard because I've got to get something out of him immediately. I've got to basically get some sort of way to.
He could let you into the crime scene. He could.
Yeah, that's where I got to go because I got to find out what's on those. I got to find out what's actually on that thing. Here's where I'm at with this story. So it's exactly like I said. Like he was he was a dude that was going to be snuffed out for finding information. The two clones found a whole bunch of information on underhanded dealings, probably money being exchanged, probably from Pawn of the Hut to the RSF for dirty cop dealings, right? The two clones come in on it. They get shot by somebody that's in on the whole thing, maybe Oren himself, who knows. Then they pin it on the custodian, which maybe they know is there because Pawn of the Hut says to pin it on him because he knows who he is, because he works for him. That'd be the only connection I can think of to Pawn of the Hut. I gotta get the actual crime that's going on so that then I can take that evidence and give it to somebody that can do something with it, right? Or confront those people. So I gotta get in. So I gotta get a key. Why don't I get a key to the crime scene from him that he can give me right there? And I'm gonna make the Mandalorian enforce it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a data pad out of my pocket, okay? I have a blank data pad on my pocket. I'm going to put it on the table. All right, Oren, we got one hand left. Here's how this is going to play out. I got that data pad with me. Maybe that was smart. Maybe that was not smart. Either way, here it is. It's on the table right here. I got a Mandalorian to my right that doesn't owe me any more favors, but I know he doesn't owe you any more favors either. You are going to put the key to that data room on the table right here because I want to take a look at it. And I don't really care what you think about that because that's the only way you're going to get this data pad. If either one of us cheats the other one, this Mandalorian here is going to shoot him in the face. How's that sound for a last hand?
Oren looks at Mal. Mal shrugs. Oren says, "You got it."
All right. So does he put the card on the table?
He does put the card on the table.
Okay. I'm immediately, this ties him to all of it because the fact that he's got the key to the room where the murders took place means that he is heavily involved in this thing.
Well, I was thinking he put like his credentials on the table.
Perfect. That'll work.
Something
too.
That would get him
that'll get me access
into important places.
Okay,
yeah.
So he doesn't put the key to the room in there, which
not the exact
doesn't
key to the room.
Actually tie him to it, but it does put his credentials in there, which gives me free reign of the RSF for a limited period of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna need those back. I mean, if you win.
I'll leave them in your mailbox. You'll have to get somebody to buzz you in tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna do this. I don't know what advantages I can ask for here, but I need them all. Because it's gonna get real ugly real fast if I lose this thing.
You can flip a light side point to turn your green one into a yellow.
Do I have a light side point left?
You have two light side points right now.
We're doing it all. Anything I got.
So you can flip one per turn. So one flip is gonna make your green better, make your green a yellow.
Okay.
Why might you get a boost?
I'm gonna get a boost. Here's why I'm gonna get a boost. Because I'm the one that came up with this idea. So I'm willing to risk it all. I also am confident that I'm a better Sabacc player than he is. Okay. I just, whether it's true or not, I absolutely believe this. And I don't think he was necessarily prepared to have the Mandalorian agree to shoot him in the face if he tried to cheat me.
No, he was not prepared for that.
I'm not terribly prepared for it either, but it was my idea. So it was less surprising than it was to him.
So it was, what did he agree to exactly?
So he agreed to give me his credentials.
What did Mal agree to exactly?
Mal agreed.
What was the wording on that?
Mal agreed to shoot one of us in the face if he thought that it wasn't being fair, or if I tried to just steal his stuff.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's going to make this, he's going to do this fair. And if the other person tries to do something, like if he just grabbed my data pad and walked away, Mal was going to execute this guy. And he's a Mandalorian, and so they're, I'm like relying on Mal's sense of Mandalorian armor as a guy that, is not to be screwed with.
Right. Okay. This one's going to be 3 purples.
Okay. So I'm going 3 yellows, 3 purples, and did I get any advantages?
I think you got a boost, yeah.
Okay, so a blue.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna have to get real dicey here. So what happened?
Oren says, you might want to let that shift.
Oh boy. Stanton's whole world is just collapsing in front of him. He cannot believe this is happening.
You know what? In honor of you, I'll let mine shift too.
Stanton tries to be witty and cool about this, and he can't. And so what he says is basically like, well, that's awfully kind of you. Meanwhile, he's just like crushed, and he's trying his hardest not to let his voice waver. Did I?
All right, so you didn't.
Okay.
But it was close.
It was so close.
So you ended up with a success and 3 advantages, and Oren ended up with 3 successes total.
Stanton is crushed. Okay, so we're in desperation mode at this point. Stanton takes Faith, his Westar, and he points it underneath the table at the underside of the table, points it like almost straight up to where all the cards and the money is, and he fires it, and it goes right up under the table and just explodes outwards.
Mm-hmm.
And he grabs the credentials and he grabs the data pad and he runs.
Okay. As you run, I'd like another vigilance check, please.
I can't believe I had to do that. So I had options here, right? Like he's either going to just accept this defeat and then go try to find a way to break in, or he's going to do something crazy here. And I think it's the fact that this is his rival that he really, really, really blames all the problems in his life on. That he is, whether true or not, he obviously causes a lot of problems for himself.
Uh-huh.
But he thinks in the back of his mind that this whole thing, there's a chance that this thing might put him even on this whole deal. And so he fires the gun off. It explodes upwards through the table. Stuff goes everywhere. Electricity goes everywhere. The chips go everywhere. He grabs, because he knows exactly what he's looking for. He grabs the 2 things. He grabs the blank data pad and the credentials, and he runs. And so he's going to do a vigilance check here. And hopefully he doesn't get executed by a Mandalorian on the way out.
We're going to do it against 3 purples and 1 black.
Oh my God.
Probably not going to notice the thing.
Do I get an advantage because I've just created like a massive amount of chaos?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this does not work.
Wow. 2 failures, 1 advantage, and 1 triumph. He does not see the cards fall out of Oren's sleeve.
Son of a gun!
As Oren stands up from the table. What do you have for your triumph and advantage?
The triumph is that the Mandalorian does see the cards come out of Oren's sleeve.
That's great, yes.
So the triumph is that the Mandalorian sees the cards come out of Oren's sleeve. So I'm booking it with these 2 things, right?
Yep,
I've left all the money, and so the Mandalorian takes out his gun and points it over to Oren's head, and he says,
I see those cards, Oren. You're going to be staying back here a while.
And the Mandalorian scoops the money.
Mandalorian scoops up the money, and Oren puts out his hands out to the sides while you make your break for it.
Okay, so this wasn't quite as bad as what I thought. I still think I lost fair and square.
Uh-huh.
Which really bothers me. But...
especially against that guy.
But nobody's chasing me. Now, It was a failed vigilance, so I probably don't even notice what's happening behind me. I'm just...
No, you don't see that at all.
I'm just gone. Gone.
Yeah. Maybe with your advantage, you would notice that Mal has not followed you. He's not chasing you or anything.
Right, but I don't know what's going on there. All I know is that I've managed to, like, against all odds, get away, and I'm just booking out of the Gundark.
Yeah.
And I flag down a taxi.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. To find out more about us and our projects, visit nightcastcreative.com. Thanks to James for playing on these episodes. Be sure to check out his podcast, The University of Coruscant. The University of Coruscant offers bite-sized, in-universe dives into Star Wars history, lore, technology, and more. I can't recommend it enough. Download the University of Coruscant wherever you get your podcasts. Have you joined our Discord yet? Come hang out with other fans of Coruscant Nights in the other place and talk about the shows, your favorite RPGs, and other games. We've got monthly live-streamed games, shows like Behind the Mask with Sarah Joy, which you can also find on our YouTube, and board game nights. Check the show notes for a link.